well for the last 7 years.
All of it, right? The rest?
Yeah.
So have you shared it already?
Yeah, we're
doing it. We're in the process.
You know, the impressive
okay.
thing is, you know, I think about like on social media now how easy it would be to find out like what people like or remember or participate in. It'd be so easy. That is been so much harder. Yeah, right? This level of like investigation from person's life, the doomsday page in the organization.
You had agents, informants, you had all of that.
Yeah, and this isn't your confidential informant.
Yeah, now it's just, you know, some sort of algorithm that holds together. Of course not.
This workshop is a mini workshop, and we want to show teachers or participants, we want to lead them through an inquiry, not just tell them what happened, but have them read documents from the government and see what happened to one of the internees who was arrested in Portland and lived through 5 different camps and then eventually went to Minidoka.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. We rushed you through this, but we really wanted you to see a case study. This is what we wanted you to see the documents and talk to each other and figure out what happened and come to us with all your questions about what happened. I didn't want to stand up there and tell you, because our theory at the National Japanese American Historical Society is that we learn best by trying to figure it out, trying to engage in looking at documents and trying to think about what we see and talk about to each other. But since we have to squeeze this 1.5 day workshop into 1 hour, I'm rushing you. But first I want to address the general, we did cover a little bit about the rest in the slideshow, but are there some important elements that you think are important for everyone to know from the people who read the arrest document? Is there anything that you learned or surprised you that you noticed? How many of you knew that the FBI was out there for 10 years ahead of time? You did, huh? Yeah. Anyone have some information that's not on these arrests? I'd like to hear if you know something else, if you read the arrest. Okay, we're going to move on to Kaya. What did you notice? All right. What did you? I'm going to be really specific. What did you notice his daughter said about his arrest, and what did you notice Truman's directions about Truman's directions? Could someone share that with everyone? Daughter's statement. And this is a little background information on him. He was essentially a successful businessman, a church person, a Boy Scout leader, and then he was arrested on December 7th at 6 p.m. And the point, Dad asked if he could tell his wife, who was taking a bath, that he was cleaning. They said no, and told him to get his coat. And his daughter did not ever see him again, because when he was released, she was in Milwaukee. He was released in Minidoka. So, all right, look at this document. Take a look at the date on that document. Can you see it? Yeah. So this is one of the things we want with the case studies. Do you notice anything? I mean, what's interesting about this document, besides telling him he's being arrested? Could someone say something? Maybe one of the teachers. I'm looking at Perry. He was arrested on the 6th. Look at the date.
Yeah, it's like right before Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, before Pearl Harbor, they got an arrest warrant ready for him.
Oh, that's a little
Be
bit.
able to see that date in the upper left corner. If you can't see it, it's 11/21/1941.
Yeah. I see a hand up there, yeah. 1941.
Roosevelt and his people knew that there was going to be an attack. The FBI started, and they had a list of everybody. As soon as the attack happened, the FBI started rounding up, the very next day, rounding up all the people that were there.
The very day.
Yeah.
The very day.
Because, no, they had problems.
On December 7th, over 1,000 people were arrested on December 7th. Okay, yes.
But also, I mean, it seemed to, I was going through this stuff, and it seemed to imply that they didn't know that the FBI didn't interview or go to the house before. They went to the house and talked to me before the war broke out too. So it wasn't like a total shock that the FBI was interested in something. So my grandfather had been visited several times before the war.
So when was he arrested?
7 p.m.
On December 7th? Where was he?
Well, San Pedro, Turner Island.
Oh yeah, they arrested right away.
Yeah, it's
Did
Ross.
you see the slideshow with all the arrests on
It was
Turner
Rosalind.
Island?
It's your boss's grandfather. Rosalind Torres' grandfather.
Yeah. And that was kind of an exceptional place because it was right next to the Navy base, wasn't it? Yeah,
But he was in San Pedro right now.
in San Pedro. Okay. Any other comments about arrests or any questions? Yeah. The who?
The orphans.
The orphans that went to the orphanage in Manzanar? They didn't have a hearing. They were just like all the other Japanese and part Japanese on the West Coast. The only reason these people had a hearing is they were, in quote, prisoners of war or internees. Yeah.
Have you come across any evidence that anybody was actually picked up before the bombing?
The what started before the war?
That anyone was actually picked up by the FBI before the bombing took place?
The only person I know that was picked up was actually acting for the consulate of Japan. So he was not a resident of the U.S. Yeah, but there's this is all new information within the last 10 years that a lot of the documents are coming out. If you see text, you can ask him if he's done more research on it. Yes.
I don't know if you know there's a story of a man who lived in Norfolk, Virginia, who's Japanese American, Japanese, and he was arrested the day of because he lived so close to the Norfolk naval base, and he was in camp. I don't know which camp it was, but there was a program on NHK TV in Japan that his granddaughter started looking for him because he had married a black woman and never mentioned it, and he had 2 sons, and she was the granddaughter, so she went looking for his story and ended up in Nagasaki to find his nieces still alive, and they took her to the family grave. His name is on the family gravestone, and the nieces said that someone 2 years after the war sent his ashes back to them. How they found out that he was from Nagasaki and sent it back to the family, no one knows. But
They had really good records.
yeah,
of
but he
everything.
had been followed for several years, but he was probably, she looked it up and found out that President Roosevelt had issued a report for his arrest. And he was arrested that day, so it was,
Did everyone hear her? She was talking about a man who was arrested in Newport. He was a Japanese.
Virginia.
Huh?
In Virginia.
In Virginia, he was arrested because he was close to an Air Force or
Navy base.
Navy base. And he was married to an African American. They never saw, his family never saw him again. His granddaughter made a film on it, and eventually they found his ashes had been sent back to his family grave in Japan. The one thing about the people in internment camps is they were arrested all over. They weren't just West Coast people. Go
Gina
ahead.
presented her last year.
Yes?
She presented her story about that last year.
He was here last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Regina Boone is her name.
spied upon, that their arrest was really based on rumors. Because all of the people got a pardon, right? They got not a pardon, but an apology and redress. So if they survived, if they were surviving in 1988. And now you've heard a little bit about the arrest. Let's go on to the hearings. Anything someone who read the hearings wants to talk about or bring up or have questions about the hearings? All right, I'm going to pull it up. One thing.
I saw the quote. It's amazing. It was a short amount of time that he was arrested on December 8th, and then the FBI report was dated January 14th, and then the hearing decision letter was like February 5th. So it all happened really quickly, and I saw that he had affidavits or letters from 3 different people, from a Japanese United Methodist minister, from somebody at the local girls' high school, and even a former employer of his that knew him for 20 years and said, you know, this is a good person, a person that now we know character. And even after all that, they just still decided he should be interned. So it's almost as if whatever he did, he didn't matter, they already decided what they wanted to do.
Yeah, it's kangaroo court, they say. Go ahead.
I was about to say, it seemed like the only thing the feds were, one of the things they were looking at is just the fact that he belonged, or he was on the list of membership in a martial arts organization. So obviously that's got to make him a bad guy, right? You know.
I was really surprised at how much money he sent to Japan. And his daughter said he collected money from the community and they sent it back to Japan. And at that time, you have to remember that Japan was not an enemy. They were, World War I, they were considered our allies. And even between that time, maybe diplomatic tension was tense, but they weren't considered enemies yet. But he was chastised for being a donor to Japan. Don't we all send money back home? Isn't that part of the practice of immigrants to send money back home? So, yeah. And then, any other comments? Oh, if you didn't get a chance to read, they had these hearings and they could have a lawyer present, but the lawyer couldn't defend it. So the person who said it just looked like it was performer, that's kind of the setup for the hearing. I'm going to go on to impact. Any comments about the impact? Yes.
A, it was heartbreaking. B, why did they give any reason for why they rejected the reunification request?
No.
Nothing, they just say.
Oh, his wife, his daughter was sick, so she couldn't move to Crystal City one time. So they did say he could go, but then she couldn't go, so he couldn't get out without going through family reunification in Crystal City. Yeah.
I was taken by how they shuttled him all over. Like he's in Missoula, and then he's in Fort Sill, and then he's in Louisiana. I mean, it seemed like they just sent him all over, kind of
Right.
for being found, being settled and all.
That was typical. I think the people who went to Lordsburg, there were 2 shootings in Lordsburg. After that, they took everyone out of Lordsburg and moved them on. Yeah. But they didn't when there was that shooting at Fort Sill. So that was interesting. One rumor is that during World War I, when the Germans and the Italians were interned, they went stir crazy being in one site. So they decided to move everyone this time around. Any more comments, questions? Yeah. I know he was so bilingual too, right?
He speaks 2 languages, he was involved with association.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the typical
you all hear her comment?
No.
This is what a typical American would want in their community. He was active in lots of organizations, and he was a good citizen, clean record, he was self-supportive, but he still got arrested. I saw a hand here.
Yes, before the war, the FBI was doing these investigations of Japanese Americans, and they had categories A, B, and C. What were those categories?
That was the order of the most dangerous, with A being the most dangerous. And then the least dangerous was things like the Fujinkai, the Women's Church Association. So even organizations like that were looked at. If you're a member of that organization, it didn't mean you were arrested. But if you were a member of an A organization, most likely you would get arrested. Yeah. Well, we want to end this program with some poetry to give you a hint of what it meant to be an internee. So I need 17 people to come to the front. Hurry up! And remember that as long as you sign the sign-up list, you'll get all these materials.
I'll be shy.
As a parent,
Take care.
17.
should I start calling speakers?
Now I want people. Come on up. All right. 1, 2, 3. Up, you guys, how to go. 4. Who's way down here? 5. 6. 7, 8. Okay, this is right. So, we'll start.
Are you going to read? Oh, this is for people reading out loud. Oh, yeah. Okay, you got this 2 minutes.
11, 12,
No, we don't have to.
14, 15, 16. I'll stop.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for being up here.
Start.
Oh, Melissa, why don't you start?
Oh, okay. Sure.
Ken, are we starting?
All right.
Okay, sorry.
Try to hold the mic over here a little bit. Okay. Start with this. All right. So. So yeah, all of these poems are going to be poems that are coming from internees in the DOJ camps. So to start.
Just read it, no comments. Read, and give the people a moment to observe it. Observe that, well, whatever you do with your ears, and then go.
Do you want me to read the name of the person too?
You can read the name, not all of them have names.
Okay. While the MPs wait, you fill my suitcase and spill your tears. How heavy its weight. Sojin Teke.
As I doze at dawn, my wife comes to me. Our hands lightly touch. The dream is no more. Keiho Soga.
I bid farewell to the faces of my sleeping children as I am taken prisoner into the cold night rain. Marin Ozaki.
Like the dog, I am commanded at a bayonet point. My heart is inflamed with burning anguish. Keiho Soga.
My wife and children live in a faraway land. How lonely are the nights behind these barbed wire fences. Sojin Take.
In this desolate field where only weeds have grown, 4 million years are mournfully buried. 3 comrades who died in vain. Sojin Take.
Sojin K.
A fellow prisoner takes his life with poison. In the evening darkness, streaks of black blood stain the camp road. Keiho Soga.
How menacing the howl is, a pack of coyotes breaking the silence of early dawn. Keiho Soga.
Should I talk to the lonely cactus, standing yonder in the desert, about the sorrows of spring? Soji K.
When the war is over and after we are gone, who will visit this lonely grave in the wild where my friend lies there? Keiho Soga.
Disloyal with papers so stamped, I am relocated to Tule Lake, but for myself, a clear conscience. Ueno Ozaki.
Sailing on the same ship, the son a U.S. soldier, his father a prisoner of war. Ueno Ozaki.
Meaningless life, boredom at day, boredom at night. Kaijiro Stage.
Though curled like a shrimp, I cannot sleep. On the journey by train, Musei.
Kamakura also would cry under the moon I saw in exile. Run.
In the pitch darkness, familiar voices. We have all been captured. Ufuya.
If you would like to stay a few minutes, and if you have a friend, a relative, and you'd like to know how to get their enemy alien files, Melissa, you can just come up and Melissa will talk to you about that. But this concludes our workshop, and thank you for your attendance.